Hi everyone, in this video we will look at a simple example optimization problem which will demonstrate the various aspects of strong duality and KKT conditions. We will look at the following problem. Minimize minus of sum over I from 1 to n log 1 plus pi gamma I. Subject to sum over I from 1 to n, pi less than equal to capital P and pi greater than or equal to 0 for all I. In this problem, gamma i's are all positive and p is a positive number. This problem arises in communications and is known as the water filling problem. First, observe that the problem is convex since the objective is convex and the constraints are all affine. So we do not need the Slater's constraint qualification and we can directly conclude that strong duality holds. Hence, there exists a primal dual optimum pair that satisfies the KKT conditions. In this case, instead of writing the dual problem, we will try to directly write down the KKT conditions. In general, there are different ways of writing the dual for the same problem, and each would lead to a different set of KKT conditions. Here also, there are two ways of proceeding. We could associate the dual variables with the two sets of constraints so that the domain of the Lagrangian for x is Rn, and the fourth KKT condition, that is the stationarity condition, can be directly written using the gradient of the Lagrangian. Or we could keep the pi greater than equal to 0 or the vector p greater than equal to 0 constraint implicit and include them into the set calligraphic x, so that we only have a single dual variable. Both are correct, but it turns out that the second one is really useful from a computational point of view, because then the dual becomes a one-dimensional problem that is easy to solve. So therefore here we will use the second approach. Let us associate the dual variable lambda with the constraint summation over I from 1 to n pi less than equal to p. So let us write down the modified problem formulation. We need to minimize over p non-negative the minus of sum over I log 1 plus pi gamma I subject to sum over I pi less than equal to capital P. Let the primal dual optimal pair will be given by pi star lambda star, and let us write down the KKT conditions. Now the first two conditions are obvious, so we can directly write them down. The first is the primal feasibility condition, which says that pi star is greater than equal to 0 and summation over I pi star is less than equal to p. The second is the dual optimality condition, which says that lambda star is greater than or equal to 0. The third is the complementary slackness condition, which can be written as lambda star times summation over I pi star minus p is equal to 0. The complementary slackness condition in this case is saying that either lambda star is 0 or summation over I pi star is equal to p. So let us keep that in mind for now. Then we get to the stationarity condition, and to write that we need to write down the Lagrangian and minimize it. The Lagrangian in this case is given by L of p comma lambda equal to minus sum over I from 1 to n log 1 plus pi gamma I plus lambda times sum over I from 1 to n pi minus capital P, where the domain of L is Rn plus cross R plus. That is, both P and lambda are non-negative. So let us minimize the Lagrangian with respect to P. Minimize P greater than equal to 0 L of P comma lambda, which is equal to min of P greater than equal to 0 minus sum I equal to 1 to n log 1 plus pi gamma I plus lambda times sum over I from 1 to n pi minus capital P. As earlier, let us take the terms that do not depend on p outside the minimization and group the rest so as to obtain minus lambda p plus min over p non-negative sum over I from 1 to n lambda pi minus log 1 plus pi gamma I. Now looking at this problem closely, observe that the objective function is separable in the entries of pi. That is, it can be written as the sum of n terms with the ith term depending only on pi. Further, the constraints are also separable since each pi is being constrained individually to be greater than or equal to 0. Therefore, the minimization operation can be applied to each pi separately and the result can be added after the minimization. Therefore, the right hand side can be written as minus lambda p plus sum over I from 1 to n min over pi greater than equal to 0 lambda pi minus log 1 plus pi gamma I. So this way the n-dimensional problem has been reduced to n single-dimensional problems. This happens a lot when dealing with Lagrangians actually, especially when the objective and constraints are both separable in PIs. Now let us look at the ith minimization problem separately, which is rewritten here. Now the KKT condition says that if we substitute lambda star here, then Pi star is the minimizer of the Lagrangian. In other words, the fourth KKT condition can be written as Pi star is equal to arg min of over Pi lambda star Pi minus log 1 plus Pi gamma I. First consider the scenario that lambda star is equal to 0. In that case, the problem becomes that of minimizing minus log of 1 plus Pi gamma I, and the objective function here decreases to minus infinity as Pi tends to infinity, so this problem is actually unbounded below, implying that Pi star will have to be infinitely large. This is a contradiction because with this we know now that we are violating the first KKT condition, that is the feasibility of Pi star, because summation of Pi star will be greater than P. In other words, if lambda star is 0, then the first feasibility condition cannot hold, but the KKT conditions must hold. So that must mean that our initial assumption that lambda star is equal to 0 must be wrong. In other words, it must hold that lambda star should be non-zero and strictly greater than 0. So this brings us to the case that lambda star is strictly greater than 0. In this case, there are two possibilities. Either Pi star is equal to 0 or greater than 0. First, assume that Pi star is greater than 0. In that case, we know that the gradient of the objective function must be 0 because the optimal solution lies somewhere on the positive real line. Setting the gradient of the objective function to 0 and differentiating, we obtain lambda minus gamma I by 1 plus gamma I Pi star equal to 0. Or equivalently, Pi star is equal to 1 by lambda star minus 1 by gamma I. Now we started with the assumption that solution Pi star is greater than 0. So we require that 1 by lambda star minus 1 by gamma I be greater than 0. In case that is not true, our original assumption that Pi star is greater than 0 was incorrect, which implies that optimal Pi star would be equal to 0 in case 1 by lambda star is less than 1 by gamma I. Combining these two conditions, we therefore obtain that optimal Pi star is equal to max of 0, 1 by lambda star minus 1 by gamma I. In other words, we are now solving the unconstrained problem here and then making sure that the solution adheres to the constraint that it is greater than equal to 0. Note that you cannot always do this, it depends on the kind of constraints we have. In any case, Pi star can also be written as the positive part of 1 by lambda star minus 1 by gamma I. So let us go back and write down the 4 KKT conditions again. First condition is that Pi star is greater than equal to 0 and some Pi star is less than equal to P. The second condition, we have already concluded that lambda star is not equal to 0, so lambda star is strictly greater than 0. The complementary slackness condition says that lambda star summation over I Pi star minus P is equal to 0, which together with the second condition implies that summation over I Pi star is equal to P. Finally, the stationarity condition is that Pi star is equal to positive part of 1 by lambda star minus 1 by gamma I. We have an expression of Pi star that depends on lambda star, and then we have an equality on the Pi stars. Combining them, we obtain the equality summation over I from 1 to n positive part of 1 by lambda star minus 1 by gamma I equal to capital P, which is basically a non-linear equation in lambda star and needs to be solved. So now let us look at the problem of solving this nonlinear equation. Define R of lambda equal to sum over I from 1 to n positive part of 1 by lambda minus 1 by gamma I minus capital P. So we have to solve R of lambda equal to 0. This kind of problem in a single variable is usually not difficult to solve. In this case, we can actually try to conclude that R of lambda is a decreasing function of lambda. In fact, when lambda is very small, R of lambda is greater than 0. For instance, we can see that if lambda is such that 1 by lambda is equal to P divided by n plus sum over I 1 by gamma I, then all the summands will be positive and sum up to something more than p. On the other hand, when lambda is very large, all the summands will be 0 and therefore r lambda will be equal to minus capital P, which is negative. For instance, if 1 by lambda is equal to 1 by gamma max, where gamma max is the maximum of the gamma i's, then all the summands will be equal to 0. So if we plot r lambda against lambda, we would see that it takes a positive value at small lambda and a negative value at large lambda. And since it is a continuous function, it passes through 0 at some lambda. That is the optimal value which we need to find. In fact, it can be verified that r of lambda is a decreasing function of lambda. In general, such scalar valued problems can be solved using an approach called bisection. So if you have to solve a single variable equation r of lambda equal to 0, where r of lambda is a decreasing function of lambda and we know some rough upper and lower bounds, so that lambda belongs to the interval lambda min, lambda max, then the bisection algorithm is as follows. So we have a loop which repeats till lambda max minus lambda min is greater than epsilon. Epsilon is a pre-specified threshold. So in the loop, each time we calculate lambda mid, which is the midpoint of lambda min and lambda max. Next, if r of lambda mid is greater than 0, it means that lambda mid is too small because the optimal lambda is somewhere between lambda mid and lambda max. So we set lambda min equal to lambda mid. Else, the optimal value lies somewhere between lambda min and lambda mid. And therefore we set lambda max equal to lambda mid. The entire process continues in the same way. At each step, we are essentially reducing our search interval of lambda by half. So let us say that there are total of k rounds. So where are we at the end of k rounds? Let us say that the initial search interval, that is the initial value of lambda max minus lambda min, was equal to capital B. Then after k rounds, the search interval is reduced to b divided by 2 raised to the power k. Therefore, we can simply stop when the size of the search interval is so small that our accuracy threshold is met. In fact, we can stop when lambda max minus lambda min equals epsilon, and that will happen after k equal to log 2 b by epsilon iterations. So that is the iteration complexity of the bisection algorithm. In summary, we were able to write down the KKT conditions for the problem and solve those KKT conditions by using the bisection algorithm. Having obtained lambda star, we can then substitute back and obtain pi stars. With that, we conclude this video and our discussion on Lagrange duality. In the next video, we will look at another notion of duality, which is the Fenchel duality.